Battle Through the Heavens, Grand World. Chapter 128. Hidden tigers and hidden dragons are still the best of the best. Student greets teacher. The man behind Zhou Gudian looked sharply at Xiao Yan and took a few steps forward to greet Li Daoyuan respectfully. How is it? You can refine the 7-star medicine pill now, right? Li Daoyuan stared at his most proud disciple for a while. His tightly knitted brows gradually relaxed as he said softly. Xiao Yu nodded his head indifferently. There was no trace of joy on his face. He said in a low voice. On the way here, junior brother Zhou told the students that Li Zan's soul strength has reached the middle period of alien stage. I won't hide it from the teacher. I am indeed not a match for him. After listening to Xiao Yu's words, Li Daoyuan wasn't depressed at all. There was a huge gap between the middle period of alien stage and the early alien realm. Even a genius like Xiao Yu wouldn't be able to surpass it. His name is Xiao Yan, an alchemist of Spirit Sky City. His talent is much greater than yours. Li Daoyuan pointed at Xiao Yan who was standing beside him. Xiao Yu's facial expression did not change at all. He only nodded slightly at Xiao Yan and looked at Li Daoyuan. Since teacher has called his student here, he must have something important to do. Xiao Yan also looked at Li Daoyuan. There was also some anxiety in his heart. The soul power of a middle period of alien stage was not something that an early stage soul like them could defeat. Li Daoyuan did not want Li Zan to win the championship. He also wanted to fight for the first place. Now, both Li Daoyuan and Xiao Yan were extremely anxious. Li Daoyuan pondered for a moment, then said in a low voice, Li Zan represents the mercenary corps of Wushan City. His strength is difficult for you all to defeat him. Although it is against the rules of the competition, this is the only way to prevent that guy from becoming the champion of pill competition. After saying that, Li Daoyuan looked at Xiao Yan. With a solemn expression, he said, although you are unwilling, you are still the alchemist who represents the Alchemist Association. Furthermore, you are the only one who stands out from the rest of the applicants. That's why I asked you to come here and try to surpass Li Zan. What happened here? You are not allowed to mention it to anyone, or else I will personally kill you. At the end of his words, a strong killing intent emerged on Li Daoyuan's face. Boundless killing intent surged towards Xiao Yan, even though he had been tempered by the prestige power spell. At this moment, cold sweat broke out all over his body. This strength. I'm afraid he has at least reached the monarch cultivation. How can he be so frightening? Taking a deep breath, Xiao Yan hurriedly nodded his head. Due to his weak strength, the prestige power spell wasn't strong enough to withstand the pressure of a monarch cultivation warrior. However, when Li Daoyuan's ki was rushing towards him, the prestige power spell was actually unable to absorb it. Li Daoyuan smiled and nodded his head when he saw this. After that, he said with a serious expression, the three of you should be the most likely candidates to win this year's pill competition except for Li Zan. Zhou Gudian's strength should be slightly weaker, but he can't be underestimated. Follow me. After saying that, Li Daoyuan stood up and pressed on the wall behind him a few times. In the next moment, a wooden door suddenly appeared in front of everyone's surprised eyes. When Xiao Yu saw this, his eyes slightly moved. He had followed Li Daoyuan for nearly 10 years, and did not know that there was some secret hidden in his teacher's room. It seemed that Li Daoyuan really had some means to increase their strength 2 days before the competition began. When he thought of this, even with Xiao Yu's indifference, he could not help but feel a trace of excitement in his heart. Zhou Gudian's reaction was even more intense than Xiao Yu's. He looked at the wooden door on the wall with some surprise, then looked at Li Daoyuan's serious expression. He could not help but feel happy in his heart. It seemed that it was not impossible for eldest senior brother to beat that Li Zan. Compared to the two of them, Xiao Yan was not much surprised. However, seeing Li Daoyuan's way of doing things and his tone just now, it seemed like he really had a way. With this thought in mind, Xiao Yan did not hesitate anymore and followed Li Daoyuan into the room. Behind the wooden door was an empty space. It could only accommodate 4 or 5 people. The surrounding was a breathtaking spatial turbulence. Terrifying ripples of death quietly spread out in the spatial turbulence, causing one's heart to feel numb. Seeing the surprised gazes of the 3 people, Li Daoyuan lightly smiled. Pointing at the chaotic current of space and time, he said in a low voice. Behind the chaotic current of space and time is a space created by a heavenly sovereign expert. It is also the secret location of the spiritual Sky City's Alchemist Guild. Inside the spatial zone was the reward for every champion. If I want to open it, I need the ancestors' approval. I am also using my power for personal gain to bring the three of you here. In order to defeat Li Zan, there is nothing I can do. I have already told you about the reward for the championship. It is a secret treasure that can strengthen the soul. Due to the powerful effect of that thing, there will be a trace of dissipation here. You will train here for the next 2 days and try to get it before the pill competition. Although it is impossible for your soul power to improve by a large margin. Hopefully, you will be able to fight Li Zan when the time comes. When Xiao Yan heard this, his spiritual strength surged out from between his brows. He could indeed sense something that caused his soul to be extremely excited in this spatial zone. Xiao Yu and Zhou Gudian also probed around and revealed a joyful expression. Let's hurry up. Although it might be against the fairness of the competition, this is the only way to prevent those fellows from the mercenary corps from getting what they want. Li Daoyuan smiled bitterly and walked out. He swiped his palm across the wall and the wooden door disappeared. Seeing Li Daoyuan walk out of the room, the three of them didn't dare show any neglect. Xiao Yu sat cross-legged without saying a word. A huge soul force was emitted from between his eyebrows. To feel the strange feeling in this spatial zone, Xiao Yan could feel the strength of Xiao Yu's soul force. He couldn't help but be startled. This bastard's soul power. It was much stronger than his own. Interesting. This spiritual sky city is indeed a place with crouching tigers and hidden dragons. Xiao Yan muttered in his heart. Without further ado, he sat down with his legs crossed. Very quickly, his mood calmed down. After which, his soul energy was completely emitted from between his eyebrows, as he felt that faintly discernible thing that excited his soul. Zhou Gudian looked at Xiao Yan with some surprise. This fellow's soul energy was a little stronger than when he saw him 3 days ago. He was almost as strong as Zhou Gudian. When he thought about how Xiao Yan could concoct pills that were beyond his realm, Zhou Gudian shook his head and stopped thinking about these things. He also copied Xiao Yan and the other man and sat cross-legged, releasing his soul energy. In this narrow space, 3 powerful soul forces were chasing each other. They were fighting to feel that strange soul energy. In the alchemist station, Ji Yun carefully looked at the information of the pill competition's contestants. He couldn't wrap his head around the unbelievable feeling. The hand that was holding the information was trembling. What was going on this year? There were so many experts. There were a total of 408 participants, and there were 33 alien realm soul and above experts. 33 seemed like a small number, but compared to the previous batch's 14 participants, it was more than 2 times the number. What was even more unbelievable was that there were so many experts in this year's competition, and there was actually a mid-alien realm soul monstrous genius who represented the mercenary corps in the competition. Li Zan. Ji Yun took a deep breath, then smiled bitterly. He estimated that all the leaders were looking at the information about the participants. He wondered what their expressions were, and if they were shocked. The information sheet in Shi Sheng's hand fell to the ground. The 5 young men around him were shocked when they saw this. One of the cold-looking young men with a scar on his face said, "Teacher, what's wrong?" Shi Shen's mouth trembled. He opened his mouth and said with a bitter smile, 33. Ha. Has this year's batch gone crazy? Middle period of alien stage. Ha. Where did the mercenary corps in Wushan City find such a genius alchemist? He has actually reached the middle period of alien stage. This time, the Spirit Heaven Mansion's mercenary corps will be the champion. Yu Dong looked at the information sheet in his hand. Due to his wild joy, his voice was trembling. Fu King accepted Yu Dong's information sheet, but he wasn't as excited as he had imagined. All he felt was a sense of defeat. He was also an alchemist of mercenary corps. This Li Zan was actually so powerful. Furthermore, his ranking in the last batch of the pill competition was 21. This time, he was ranked 33rd among the alien realm soul alchemists. When he thought of this, Fu King couldn't help but furrow the information sheet in his hand. In the Spiritual Sky City's Alchemist Association, Li Daoyuan, Hua Yan, and some other elders looked at the information sheet in their hands and were incomparably shocked. After that, they became incomparably worried. If that kid named Li Zan won the competition with such high quality, it would be even more disadvantageous for the Spirit Heaven Mansion's Alchemist Association. The reputation of the Spirit Heaven Mansion will depend on the three of you. Taking a long breath, Li Daoyuan couldn't help but clench his fists. His eyes were flickering with a complicated light. Chapter end. Hi guys, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.